Oh gosh. I just looked at my hair and realized I need to brush it more. Hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah, we're gonna. It's looking a little like, what's the word? Tangled. Let me know if you guys can or cannot hear me. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. I'm a voice actress. My name is Noelle. I voice act in memes and skits and audio dramas and animation slash animatic stuff. Good evening. But yeah, this is I am this is my stream. But yeah, I think I also want to do maybe some makeup. It's one of those days, you know. Okay, so it's funny because like I used up like half of it in this particular palette because of like Halloween. And it's like that's probably the most inefficient way to do like Halloween makeup, to just use like a whole like eyeshadow palette. But that is what I did for Halloween instead of using, I don't even use like foundation, which for those of you who may not know, it's like something you like put on your face so the makeup like shows up better or sticks. And I didn't use any of that. So it I think I was just being stubborn and using what I had for Halloween. But yeah, I think maybe I also like to use like eyeliner as a base sometimes. Sorry, this is not like a makeover stream. And yet I'm just like, I'm bored. This is what I'm gonna do. But yeah. I can't remember if I talked about this on stream last time, but I saw like the Chainsaw Man movie recently. That movie was super good. Like, I think changing up the art style, interestingly enough, to where it looked like more like the manga, I think that honestly made that movie and its animation even like slightly better than the show. And the show was already like pretty good. You have a vitamin C deficiency. That's probably true. I did buy orange juice the other day, so maybe that'll help. But yeah. Oh, also, welcome to the stream for those of you just joining. My name is Noelle, and I'm a voice actress and a voice actress, and I teach music and singing. I love orange juice. Which one? Ooh, this is a good question. Which one did you enjoy more, Infinity Castle or Reze? So, obviously, Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer, apples and oranges in themes. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't think one is like worse than the other because they're so different. I think Demon Slayer is about a lot of themes of like family and compassion and whatnot. And I think Chainsaw Man is a story that focuses on more things like depression and manipulation, especially for teenage boys, which is really rough. Uh, so I think it's like, I think just personally, even though usually I don't tend to like things that are like grittier over the things that are more like hopeful, I did like the Chainsaw Man movie a little bit more than the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. But I think they were both like really unique and good in their own way. I think Demon Slayer has had like so much build up and that just totally makes that arc like worth it, and it was like really cool seeing a bunch of the fights in that. I think in Chainsaw Man, I just like how natural a lot of the characters like feel, and where you have to sometimes like come to your own conclusion even about the characters. But yeah, thank you for the gift. But yeah, someone's asking me why I look like Amy. Which, wait, who? I feel like I should know this. Yeah, okay, who? Oh, do you mean from Sonic? Can I do like Anya's voice from Spy Family? I don't think I can like, if I like voiced Anya, I'd have to do like my own interpretation. But I think she kind of sounds like kind of mischievous a lot of the time.
So she probably would sound something like this in my voice.
But yeah, that's like, I think all I can like, yeah. I'm not very good at impressions. Oh my gosh. It's every stream. Everyone's like, "You look like Velma." Let's see. Oh man. All right, I'm trying to decide now. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, and watch this like absolutely like professional like technique of how to put on eyeshadow because I don't have a like a brush. This is like the pinnacle of makeup right here. I should probably just buy a brush. That's my own fault. I'm being lazy and procrastinating. I also need to read the comments. Something tells me you have a great sense of humor. I mean, I should hope so. Like, I don't know. I think I'm the kind of person where I'll like, I've said this before, but I'll just kind of like laugh at my own jokes and be like, haha, that was funny. And then like, I think that sometimes my humor can be like a little like nonsensical. And so I think it's, I think humor in general, it's like, you find like different kinds of people who align with like different kinds of like humor, but I think it's always like awkward for me if I like say something that I think was like funny. I'm like, no one else thought that was funny. uh, but yeah, the smoky eye looks good on me. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. I am Hispanic. Uh, but yeah. But yeah, so all in all, I guess it's up to you to decide if I'm funny or not. I mean, hopefully on my channel I am at least, because I spend like a long time like creating all the videos and memes and being like, is this the peak of humor? And like, hopefully it is. Awesome. Now we're gonna use silver. Sonic reference? Let's see. This is so chaotic. Why didn't I just buy a makeup brush? But yeah, what about you guys? What do you guys in the comments think about the Chainsaw Man and Infinity Castle movie? Which one did you like more? I'm actually like genuinely curious. Let's see. Okay, so not Amy from Sonic. I'll have to look this up later. But yeah. Where do you live? I live in my house. Hello to everyone who just joined the stream. Welcome. I'm also sorry if I missed some of the comments without glasses. I think it's eyeliner time. We'll use this. Oh no, I messed up. I think that looks alright. I can't tell though. I'll just leave it be. Let's see. Be careful with the eye tool thingy. Yeah, I don't want to like... I'm very particular about that. Like some people will like do like the inside of like their eye for eyeliner, and I'm like, I'm not brave enough for that. Did you eat today? A little bit. I should probably eat more. She lives in a castle of cheese. That's right, I'm a mouse. I like Chainsaw Man more, but it's probably because I'm biased. I mean, that's fair. Like, you like what, like, anime you like, you know? But I do think that one, it was just, like, very artistic and beautiful. Like, the second, spoilers, the second, like, there was, like, the first scene in the movie, and they literally just made it look like a manga with, like, Denji walking up to, like, the door as, like, a kid and everything. I was like, this movie is about to be amazing. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie. I haven't seen the Chainsaw Man movie, but it looks awesome. But I did watch the Demon Slayer movie. You should go see it. It was good. But yeah. The eyeliner is terrible. Learn how to apply makeup from YouTube. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think it's also because of my vision. That's okay though. Maybe let's do just like a little bit of that. And that'll solve everything. Nice. Truly a big, smart moment on my end. And then we'll do... What I really need is my eyeliner that's just like the pencil instead of the brush. Which I will now look for. Oh, I gotta read comments. Let's see. Hello, welcome to the stream. It just felt like the Chainsaw Man manga was finally getting its flowers because the writing by Fujimoto is pretty fresh. I do think that, like, I've tried to, like, not get spoiled stuff, but it just kind of, like, happens sometimes. But I feel like from some of, I think, the manga of what I've seen, and then talking about it with my boyfriend Juan, who has read the manga, I think that I could see how some people initially wouldn't think it's like super like intricate or whatnot. But I think it's like, I didn't personally feel that way, but I think that the manga is just like so far into like a really interesting place that it's a very different place from where the anime is at right now. But yeah. Some stuff you can't make up. The puns. Indeed. I have a boyfriend. He's also a voice actor. And we both like anime and manga and all that. Is the Chainsaw Man movie good? Yeah, it's super good. I would recommend, like, going to see it for sure. But yeah. Hello to any of you just joining the stream. Okay, now I need to figure out. I like how whenever it smudges, I'll just like not use makeup wipes because I'm also stubborn. Okay, hopefully this turns out good. It's actually better. So that's kind of nice. All right. Oh yeah, that looks cool. For sure. This is my makeup skills at its finest. Just no brush and no concept of what I was gonna do. Just going for it. Oh, great. Yeah, this turned out fantastic. This is why I don't do makeup streams. I'm just doing this because I was like, I kind of want to put on makeup today. And I was waiting for the chat to grow so I could answer your guys' questions. And then this happened. All right. Well, it's a look for sure. But yeah. I always try and figure out too. Sorry, I keep like thinking about this, but like, is Chainsaw Man like a shonen or a seinen, or just like something else entirely? Because I feel like it just doesn't quite fit into the shonen genre. But maybe that's just like my perception, I guess. What are some of your favorite all-time anime and manga? So, I think my favorite, I need to read more manga. And every single time I enter the stream, I'm like, I need to finish this one. But it's true. I was really liking reading Monster. That's manga. I haven't seen like the anime of Monster, but I was really liking Monster. Um, and then I think favorite anime. I mean, I know my like number one anime is Fate. It's either Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works or Fate Zero. But they're just so like very different from one another because I think like Unlimited Blade Works is much more like shonen-ish. Though very like complex and unique in its own way. And Fate Zero actually feels a little more like a seinen. Um, but yeah, so one of those is definitely my favorite. I also really like Violet Evergarden. I like Code Geass. I like Erased. Dororo is also a very good anime that I watched more recently, which might be my favorite seinen now, even a little bit more than a Vinland Saga. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. In general, though, I don't think I've watched like a whole lot of seinen, so it's like every time I watch a new one, I'm like, this is my favorite now. And I keep like changing my answer. But yeah. I was surprised to find out that Kill a Kill was a seinen, I guess. But I guess that makes sense the more I think about it. That looks good. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts. Let's see. What makes a seinen a seinen? Well, that's the thing, because from what I understood, I thought it was if the themes of the story, if the main character was an adult, and if the themes of the story were a little more intense. And this is why I wonder about like Chainsaw Man, because it's like I think the themes of Chainsaw Man are more mature slash intense themes. It's a little grittier at some points, but the main character is 15 or 16, so I don't, maybe it is like a shoujo, but just kind of like a like darker shoujo, I guess. That's my perception. But yeah. Let's see. I prefer Fate Zero over Unlimited Blade Works purely because I can't stand Shiro. You don't like Shiro? I mean, I don't. I guess like I don't. I didn't think there was anything wrong with like Shiro as a character, other than maybe he just like puts a lot on himself too much. But that's kind of the theme of the story, because it's like, okay, maybe Archer's kind of got into a really pessimistic place, since, which isn't like great, but then it's like maybe with like Shiro, he has good intentions. He wants to help people, but he wants to do it in a way that's almost like unattainable in a way, where it's like essentially like no one in the world would like, well, I guess I think it's interesting because I think actually if you think about like Vinland Saga a little bit, it's kind of got a similar idea, relating to just like helping people and creating a world of like trying to not hurt people, or continue that cycle of hurting people. And I think it's interesting because on one hand you have like Unlimited Blade Works, which has this perception that that can grow into something that's very self-destructive. And on the other hand, I think Vinland Saga, that's actually almost the character arc that like Thorfinn reaches, towards the beginning of season 2, because he's just been a part of this like cycle ever since he was young of just like this like continuing violence, and he has this perception of like where the world needs like healing essentially. And yeah, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, Vinland Saga is a pretty good example of that kind of scene in where the MC is not an adult. That's true, because Thorfinn starts out as like a little kid, and then he's like, well, I don't know. In season 2, is he like in his 20s or just like his late teens? I'm not sure. Okay, so now it's being revealed. You didn't like Shiro because I guess in the Japanese he's voiced by Sasuke's VA, and you also didn't like Sasuke. So that's like at that point I don't know if there's anything that can be resolved to help you to like Shiro more as a character in Fate. In season 2 he was 18. Okay. So maybe the criteria for a seinen is just like if the character gets like older even. But I'm not sure. Welcome to any of you just joining the stream. I'm a voice actress. Yeah, I do like audio dramas and some animated slash animatic stuff and my own memes. But yeah. Naruto X Sasuke. I need to keep watching that show. I was actually really enjoying it. But yeah. I also need to drink water. Someone in the comments is like, should I text my ex? Like, I don't think that's a decision I should make. I mean, yeah, I don't know what that relationship looks like, so I think you'll have to leave that up to your own judgment. Try some voice acting for us.
Like, what kind of voice acting? Well, I guess I can do a lot of silly voices.
But yeah, that's some voice acting. Welcome to the stream. But yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Thank you. I know, I'm so good at voice acting. I'm such a good voice actress. Uh, I try my best. And I try to what I really need to do is not like procrastinate sometimes and just like definitely audition for more things, which I'll probably do this week just cuz I want to get back into that, just auditioning more. What's your favorite voice to act? I have a couple of them. I really like I like my deep antagonist voice because it's very nasally and it's a little easier for me to do. But I like how intense it sounds. So that's one of my favorites. And I like doing just like the silly, goofy voices as well. Um, Especially a lot of the time when it's like just, I mean, yeah, just kind of over the top and ridiculous. Can you do? I'm not good at impressions. This is like something that I always think is like interesting and kind of funny. Where like obviously I'll always like answer any question, but I think a lot of people sometimes when you tell them you like voice act, they're like, "Oh, can you do like a voice like this person or whatnot?" And you can do like maybe the archetype of that thing, but everyone's voices just sounds like so vastly different. And some people can do impressions, but impressions aren't just like, they just don't, I don't know. There's not a whole lot you can do unless there's something in your voice or something you can do with your resonation where you can make it sound similar to another person. But yeah, sing something for us. Well, last time I sang, I was like, am I gonna get like copyrighted? And I was like, yes. um, I know I've written songs before. I'm trying to think of what I could possibly sing. Like, I'll come back to that. You look like you do a badass Velma cosplay. Uh, do you think the level of English voice actors in anime has increased over time, or was it always good? You mean like good voice acting? I think that there's a really big history to it. And I think that dubbing didn't used to be as prominent in like just older eras, like even the 80s, I think. And then the 80s, I guess there's been like a couple of things that like make it hard sometimes to achieve a good dub. I think some people want something that sounds similar to the style of voice acting within like how it's done in the Japanese. But some people don't like that because it feels just like very like caricature, if that's the right term, ish to them. Uh, and I think that deters some people. And I think at the same time, some people want to achieve a more natural style of voice acting, but that's incredibly hard to do because anime is just so expressive. And I think that it it really depends. Because I think even what I have is like, because of my own journey in voice acting, a concept of how much effort it takes to do voice acting. It's like, okay, so like someone might not like this voice or how this person like portrayed this character or their sort of interpretation of some of the lines. But I tend to really like English dubs just because I think I have this extra insight into just how difficult it is to do some of what's done. And I think especially sounding like conversational in any type of acting, that's like really difficult. Because yelling, you don't want to like hurt your voice and stuff, but like yelling and crying, it's like I find it at least easier to get into those like more intense emotions. I think having your emotions be more discreet and more subtle when you're just having like conversation in acting, that's pretty difficult. But yeah. So I think right now currently we're kind of at like a really great point with just like a lot of dub voice acting. But I think that it's hard to say like, because I don't know, I like to be gracious because I think in general acting is difficult. I think the what can be like bad like voice acting is if you're just like not trying, or even like I think everyone can grow and everyone can get better, but I do think in acting you have to have, and in voice acting you have to have that desire to want to improve. And I think that if there's a person who doesn't necessarily want to improve, even if they're like really good, or maybe they do need to improve, it's pretty difficult to go from there. But yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. But yeah. I will say this isn't like a hot take or anything. I think that there's so much passion behind like just art and voice acting and animation, music, that it really saddens me that like some people are trying to like replace those things with AI, because I'm like, well then that takes just the beauty and the human aspect about like out of all of those things, and it makes me sad because people do voice acting because they love voice acting, and that's, I think that's very important. Do you voice in anime too? I hope to someday. Currently, I think one of my favorite projects that I'm currently in is Plague of Crowns, which is on YouTube. But there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be released, but I voice the character Princess Merope, who's just like super cool. And yeah. Did you watch the anime D Vampire Hunter? I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it, and I actually intend to one day. But yeah. Oh, I think like I could talk for hours about how I think like Solo Leveling has really good voice acting, especially from Alex Lee. And I think, well, everyone in that show is like really good. And I think somehow they managed to find like just that right spot where it's like the voice acting doesn't feel too much like an archetype, but it's not like so natural that it feels like it's mismatching with the animation. I think like just how like whatever was going on in terms of like how the voice acting was directed for that show and whatever like the voice actors were doing and just kind of like the takes they were doing, the retakes they do, like the way they like thought about their performances, like there was just so much that was incredibly well done from a voice acting perspective in that show, in my opinion. Do you do commissions on Reddit ever? I don't really have a Reddit, but I have a casting call club, and Twitter, and Instagram, and a YouTube, obviously. So if anyone's looking for a voice actress, feel free to reach out to me. But yeah. No, yeah, the human voice is irreplaceable in my opinion. I mean, yeah, it's there's just so much subtlety and like genuine feeling you can get from everyone's performance. And everyone has such like different acting styles too. That's something I really love. What's your favorite anime? Probably, okay. Okay. It's probably Fate Zero. I'll say Fate Zero. But yeah. Oh gosh. it's we're still 1 month away from Christmas. It's funny how like some stores already though they'll play like Christmas music. And I'm like, well, I I guess this is what's happening now. Hello, welcome to the stream. But yeah. I think like in my own voice acting, let's see. I really like doing projects where I get to like yell and be intense because it's a like fun way to kind of like just get out like whatever energy you've had like cooped up for a whole day. But then also I think once you get more comfortable with yelling, you have to think about how you can make it more specific and more particular to like whatever the character is experiencing, which I really like. But yeah. Let's see. So are you deep into the Fate series or just Zero and Unlimited Blade Works? I watched Grand Order. I do like Grand Order too, especially the Camelot movies. Uh, I think even though they don't quite contribute to the Ufotable series, I do really like I think a lot of the like animation in them and the music in them and a lot of like the concepts in it. The characters are really memorable. I I'm trying to think of well, I've watched Heaven's Feel. I really like Heaven's Feel. I don't think I ever finished Lost Encore, which I probably should. I remember watching Fate Apocrypha, and that's a really good one, but just very different. And maybe personally, I like Ufotable's renditions of Fate a little bit more than something like Apocrypha because I feel like some of the intricacy of a lot of the characters is a little bit more present in those ones. But maybe maybe it's not a fair comparison. Oh my gosh, Gilgamesh is like not my. He's like he's got a lot of problems. Okay, well in Grand Order, Gilgamesh is really kind of like noble. I think in the main series, he's not that great. But he serves a purpose to the story. But his ideology is incredibly self centered, I think, where he's kind of like, just do what you want regardless of like how horrible some of those things could be, or like if you hurt people or whatnot. And he kind of like, I don't think he necessarily like made Kirei that way. I think Kirei already struggled with things like that as a character. But I think both him and Kirei are just people who like thrive off of like hurting other people for some reason. So yeah, I don't really align with that. I think my favorite characters in each series, let's see. When I was younger, I think Kuritsugu was my favorite character in Fate Zero, but I think upon re-watching it a couple of times, I think I like Artoria, and I like to align a little more with, I think, Artoria's like her selflessness and her concept of like honor and whatnot, and like having respect towards like other people and seeking to be like, I think Fate always asks this question of like, is like striving to help everyone, is that really possible? Is it a dead end? Can it be like maddening? Or is that maybe what should be like strive for, even if maybe to some extent a certain like grand level of that goal can be unattainable. But I like that Artori is just incredibly compassionate towards people. Water. I think that, so yeah, she might be my favorite in Zero, but there's a lot of good characters in Zero. I really like Diarmid. I really like Iris Veal in Zero. In Unlimited Blade Works, my favorite character is Archer, which is a little basic, but yeah. And then I think in grand order, it depends what series, but I think in the Grand Order Babylonia series, I think like I find Anna to be very relatable. I think to how I was when I was like younger, where it's just like this like introvertedness and this like shyness and this fear of like how other people might look at you or perceive you. And I think that in the Camelot movies, my favorite character is Bedivere. Thoughts about Shiro? I think Shiro is a great main character. But yeah, I think that he's he's definitely kind of flawed in his like ideology towards the beginning, where like some of his desire to help people comes from almost in a way trying to fulfill Kuritsugu's wish. And it's well intentioned, but it's not necessarily genuine, I don't think, until much later in the story. But yeah, I think he's a good character. What do you think of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? I think it's a great show. Like, enough said. Like, everyone loves that show. I think that I'm also basic in that respect because I was like, oh, my favorite character is Roy Mustang. But yeah. But yeah. Oh, the gothic vibe of my makeup. It's very fun for sure. But yeah, I don't understand anything you're saying. Yeah, that's that tends to be a lot of Fate. It I think it's something that's better watched than explained. Um, but yeah, but then once you watch it, it's always fun and interesting to have discussions with people about it. Someone from Greece says hello. Hello, welcome to the stream. But yeah, I love Fate. In conclusion, I love Fate. When watching the series, it's a leap of fate. Huh. But yeah. I think, like, yeah. I definitely tell a lot of people if they want to watch Fate to just watch, like, Fate Zero and then Unlimited Blade Works. And I tell them to just start with those because if it's, like, not their cup of tea, I don't want them to watch, like, a million series of Fate. But ideally, I feel a little optimistic sometimes where I'm like, maybe they will like it. Um, but yeah. You know what's like the funniest and weirdest scene to me in that whole show though? Because it's just so random. Like, the scene where Kirei in Heaven's Feel is eating like spicy tofu, something about that scene is just so incredibly like awkward and funny to me. Like, and I don't know, in particular, watching like Heaven's Feel, I was like, there feels there seems to be there feels like a bias towards like I think someone who was like an animator like liked Kirei like as I don't know. It's very interesting. Um but yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. And there was like yeah, because there was in Full Metal Alchemist there was Armstrong and then his sister, I believe. But yeah. There's a lot of good characters in that show. What's the topic here? I mean, it's just like a Q&A about you can ask about voice acting, you can ask about for some reason I get a lot of questions about my thoughts on like anime and whatnot and other stuff. Um so yeah, that's the topic. But yeah, I am a music teacher also. Yeah, very interesting, very fun. Um I teach violin, singing, guitar, piano. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting one. Ukulele? But yeah. Well, this is my Persona 5 poster in the background. This is my ReZero poster because I like ReZero. But yeah, I've actually like it's funny cuz every now and then I'll just like re-pick up Persona 5 and then remember like oh yeah, this game is I'm not even halfway through the game yet. It's like only like 20% of away through the game. Um but yeah, it's a fun game. I think my favorite game is Nier Automata, though also I still have a special place in my heart for Deus Ex Human Revolution because I really liked that game for some reason when I was in middle school. Like, I don't know. I just thought I liked the soundtrack. I liked the kind of like I liked it kind of being like a stealth game. I think the main character, I he's not very intricate. Like he is like they killed my wife. I want revenge. But I still, despite that fact, enjoy just watching the main character in that game, and in general, I think it's a fun game. Yeah, Persona 5 is great. I love Persona 5. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I should probably eat. Maybe I'll eat. I'm definitely a fan of burgers. Maybe I'll make like just like a burger patty. But yeah. You know how to make a good point. Thank you. I try. But yeah. All right, let's see. It's probably gonna be like maybe 4-ish minutes before the stream ends. So whatever questions you guys have, feel free to ask them. Any voice acting questions, any, I guess just any questions in general. But yeah, especially if you want to know something about voice acting. Have you played Dispatch yet? The VA lineup in that is pretty crazy. Is that the one with Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham and Moist Critical? Or am I thinking of something else? But I haven't played that yet, if that's the question. Which of the games do you prefer, Persona 3 or Persona 4? I haven't played Persona 3 yet. I want to play Persona 3 Reload, because, well, maybe I should play both at some point, because Yuri Lowenthal, I think, was the protagonist in Persona 3, and Alex Lee voiced the protagonist in Persona 3 Reload. And they're both really good voice actors. But I have yet to play that. But so, Persona 4 I haven't played. I've only really played Persona 5. And I wonder why Persona 5 was like the most. I mean, Persona 3 might be getting there. But Persona 5, for some reason, just seemed like incredibly popular when it came out. And maybe it's just because of the lineup of characters. They're just so memorable and iconic and unique. And I think a lot of the character designs, especially in Persona 5, they're just really well done. But yeah. I've thought about potentially, like, I'm like, okay, I think I need to grow out my hair again, because there's a lot of like characters I'd want to like cosplay from games that have like longer hair. Like I was thinking about Aerith maybe someday from like Final Fantasy. I think that would be fun to cosplay. But then I was also thinking of like doing a Futaba cosplay at some point. I'm like, what if I grew out my hair and like dyed it orange? But yeah. No, yeah. Yuri Lowenthal is like really good. And I think like it's so funny too, because it's like I think it's always interesting to see what role seems the most iconic for a lot of people, because I think for a lot of people they're like, oh yeah, like Sasuke from Naruto, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ben 10, because that's kind of what me and my brothers grew up with. Do you also play Magic the Gathering? I have played a couple of games. I don't think I'm very good at it. I think if there's any game that I feel a little more confident about and enjoy more, it's probably Warhammer. right now because my older brother got me into it. But also, I say that, but maybe I just say that because, like, he's let me use his, like, Necrons army whenever we played, which is, like, it's a pretty good army to use. And I actually remember when my boyfriend visited and we played together at one point. I just out of spite, I decided to to like attack him from, I want to say it was at least like what, like maybe like 70 or 60 inches across the table. So, yeah, that was really fun. But let's see. I don't think I've heard, well, I've listened to like music that's just like by default like by Japanese artists, and it's like, oh, it was used for like anime openings. I think the only Japanese bands that maybe I've like looked into on my own time and just listened to their music casually is Lamp. I really like Lamp. My little brother got me into that band. But yeah. Oh, have a good night. But yeah. All right. Well, hello to all of you just joining the stream, but I apologize because unfortunately, I think that is where I will end the stream. So, thank you all for joining. If you want to check out my voiceover work, you can check out the playlist called Projects I'm in, or you can check out my channel, but that's my more funny voiceover work where I do memes that I make. And yeah, I do a lot of fun streams. I do like drawing streams. I do currently I'm playing Armored Core, which is very fun. But yeah. All right. I hope you all have a good night and a good evening and a good day. I know, I'm sorry you just joined. I should have given myself like more time to do a longer stream. I apologize. But yeah, have a good night. Bye.